What nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's Anime Nerdigan live reaction video is going to be for Shoukoku no Altair Season 1, Episode 9. So, how they transitioned into the adaptation of Chapter 20 is really interesting. So what they did was they took the aftermath from what should have been in Episode 7, narration-wise, and put it in the beginning of this episode. I actually kind of like that. I think that was pretty smart. But what they did, and I hope that they don't skip the rest of the content from it, was, hold on a second, was they took a little bit, they actually also took content from this chapter 20 as well. Hold on a second. Just want to make sure. Oh, yeah. And yeah, they took a little bit of content from chapter 20. They just transitioned it to it and then went to like the 13 days. I think that was really, really smart. But what they did, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how to feel about this because they really changed this. So what they did, and so the first of all, the conversation between Zaganos and Khalil Pasha is just fucking skipped. It is flat out skipped, which was this. But certainly this is the biggest storm of the year. After all, it just had I had to hit on the one day that all our honorable guests arrive. Khalil Pasha, you may want to sit up straight. I believe our guests are here. And then this part was skipped. We must prepare our response to the recent aggressions of the Imperial Army. It's been 12 years for Turkike. I propose we begin the transition to the wartime system of Greater Turkike. And it just basically went into the vote. We will enter the voting period. They basically went through all that, and the let's see. Hold on a second. Let me just double check something here. So this part was completely skipped. This part was completely skipped. I wasn't sure if they were switching, like if they were switching scenes or whatnot, and I had to just double check in the manga just to make sure I was right. But damn, they skipped a good chunk of content here, which was this. A vote, huh? And this is with Solomon here. No matter how many, this is a conversation between him and Zaganos. No matter how many times I've witnessed it, I can't help but think it's a waste of time. I've actually never seen Turkike voted down by this council. The four stratocracies are basically under Turkike's thumb, right? It's true. This system has already outlived its usefulness. It would be better if Turkike just absorbed all of them. Zaganos Pasha, what you suggest sounds a bit violent, no? Ever since we, and this is, Tisat, copy, Sarja, Pasha saying this. Ever since we nomadic, tribes took up this, stratocratic system, each of the four clans which govern the four stratocracies respectively has been given its own land, and the clans have become nobles among nobles. That's true. Even if their actual powers are few, so long as they believe that they take part in an important decision and keep up their pride, then I suppose you could say that this vote has its uses. Watch yourself when you speak up, Start. Like, I don't understand why you would skip all of this content, especially when, yes, I know, it didn't go through here. I'm not, okay, I'll mention, I know you manga nerdigans are going to want me to mention the narration shit. I will mention it. I'm not going to say anything until later. But I'm going to mention this, though, because it's in relation to the content that was skipped. Why would you skip this content when it foreshadows what of what was said here, might not this be an attack against the unfairness of our system? Because it was just, as I just said, the vote has its uses. And freaking A, this episode is man, like, this totally relates to if you think about it, you can relate this to our system, the democratic process. Because I have to mention this. Because I have people telling me that voting is pointless. That the elites determine shit. Well, if your vote if your vote was useless, then why do people keep pointing out the popular vote? Here's the thing, though. If we ran on the popular vote and not in the electoral college, then the small states, the smaller populated states in the country, wouldn't get their say. But because you motherfuckers that are bitching, you motherfucking liberals that are bitching in California and New York and shit, and also, I should say, Washington and all that, you guys are bitching about the popular vote. You mofos didn't go vote. A good chunk of you guys didn't go vote. And you know what happened? Or, I'm sorry, you guys didn't get enough votes in the smaller states that mattered. And you know what happened? Your candidate lost. There you go. Anyway, sorry, I had to point that out because it was going to bother me. But, this part was skipped. And then after 2 or 3 generations, it ends up like this. The toils of their fathers and grandfathers are wasted on them. Ain't that the truth? You can relate this to what is going on right now, for sure. This generation does not appreciate shit. Here it is. This part was skipped. Who would attack their own ally at a time like this? With the international situation as it is, there's no place for infighting. If I didn't say, I'm gonna wait after the opening song to see if there's any more of this dialogue that's skipped in this portion of the manga, and also if the narration about the nomads is skipped, because there's a lot of good information about them, and I'm surprised it hasn't been mentioned. Like, I wish they would have mentioned the nomad. You know what? I kind of understand why they haven't done the nomad narration stuff sooner. But I wish they would have done it, like, in the beginning, because it would have made, a little bit more sense. But, I'm gonna wait. If they save it for next week, I'll be okay. I'll maybe give them a pass, but I'll still mention it at the end of the episode, the narration. That's what I'll do. Wow. Okay, so okay, so I gotta make sure I mention this. All of this was skipped in this scene. Then I wonder if the Sultans will make it home safely was skipped. So if that's true, then I wonder if the Sultans will make it home safely was skipped. And also, Zaganos Pasha, if you do anything to them, it won't stop at mere infighting. We would make an enemy of every man, woman, and child in the 4 nations. Let's see. Now, here we are. We're in the right spot. I gotta say, anime, I'm surprised. I don't understand why we're skipping so much stuff. Jeez, here we go. You better be making it worth my while right now, anime. Oh, why can't you animate Mabu Bay right? Oh, I can't stand it. Like, Kairos looks so good. Kairos looks great. I love him. He looks perfect, but Mabu looks terrible. Oh my I continue to say in every video, Mahmoud looks fucking awful animated. I can't stand it. Ugh, I really hate it. He looks too fucking chunky. Ugh. God damn it, animation. Why? And this episode is titled The Red Tiger Sultan, before I forget. Okay, narration is skipped here. A country governed by the Muzark Turkans, the second largest of the clans. It extends west from the only seaport, Lyman in Greater Turkite, which is also the beginning of the Orman Kravalu Forest Road and an international thoroughfare. Like, I wouldn't have mind if this would have been, like, prior to, you know, seeing Mahmoud and the crew. I would have been fine with that. But no. Like, if they do this later on, I'll take it back. But, God, like, it's just... There's one huge thing that's wrong in this scene. Kairos is supposed to be eating. And he's supposed to have like a bunch of kebabs sticking out of his bag, and he's supposed to be eating, and he is not eating. And there's no kebabs. What the shit? Is it that hard to draw freaking kebabs? Also, this part was skipped. Then first things first, collect information from a water shrine. Right. In this town, at least, the kulak should still be safe. It's the eastern tip of the Turkite, huh? Rod Orm certainly won't reach us here. Master Kairos, why don't I hold those for you until you're finished eating? Actually, no thanks, Mr. Obliga. By the way, Obliga looks fun. That's the other thing I don't understand. Why does Kairos and Obliga look freaking great animated, but freaking Mahmoud looks terrible? I don't understand. I just don't get it. It does not make sense to me at all. But also, why are these, like, why is Kairos not eating? Why are we not getting this banter between Obliga and Kairos? Because they're supposed to have, like, a bromance going on. Kind of similar to, if you read the Magi series, Sharkan and Masur. If you know what I'm talking... Seriously, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go read the Magi series. It's an amazing series. And I cover it on my channel, too. So I don't understand why we're not getting this anime, seriously. We're not getting the banter at all. And this just pisses me off. This part was skipped. Miss Obliga was supposed to be talking to the guy on the carriage. And this was the dialogue that was supposed to be said. Mr. Obliga, how strange to see you in a place like this again. Yes, quite. Are you here on business? Is he from the Brega company? No, then he goes to say no, he's an arms dealer. He doesn't say bad news. He just says no, he's an arms dealer. Like, come on, dialogue. This is just writing. This is just fucking ridiculous. Could it be that Rod Arm already was skipped? This part was skipped as well. I think we can be sure that something is happening in this town. Let's get going then. Like, damn, this episode is taking L's already. Like, jeez. I'm sorry. If this video is going to be really long, I'm giving you the heads up. This episode is just taking L's right now. There's just a lot of stuff skipped. I feel like I'm gonna end up mentioning that narration that was skipped in the beginning of the episode at the end of this video. Like, fuck. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go back and mention it now because it's gonna bother me if I don't. So at the beginning of this episode, because if I don't mention it now, it's just gonna bug the fuck out of me. Hold on a second. So, this was supposed to happen, this narration was supposed to happen after the vote, I think. Hold on a second. Yes, after the vote, this was supposed to happen. And this would be on page 21 of chapter 20. Turkike and the four stratocracies that surround it are together called Greater Turkike. Originally, this area was known only as Turkike Topak, Nomad's territory, an undeveloped area home to roughly 20 nomadic tribes. it wasn't until 75 years ago that national borders were drawn. When Turkey was founded to prevent struggles, land was allotted to the four prominent, strongly independent tribes. They became a group of satellite states who all shared the same culture. However, wait, sorry, I missed a part here. The four nations besides Turkics are ruled by hereditary sultans. However, the sultan's power is only equal to that of the Turkic viziers. And then you got the pyramid there, where it's the Great Pasha, the 30 viziers and the sultans, and then the Pasha. To balance it out, it became a rule that in the event the vote was split, then as long as Turkey wasn't part of the majority would win. 75 years later, the Turkic stratocracies continue as the hold on a second, suzerain of the Greater Turkic. And I would understand if they use this narration in a later episode, but still, I kind of am mad that they didn't put, the more that I'm thinking about it, and this is why I'm mentioning it now, I'm kind of mad that they didn't put it where, freaking A, I'm really mad that they didn't put it even in the beginning when they were doing all the narration, period. It would have been nice to have it, because it would make more, it would give more depth to, first of all, to the nomads, and also give you more of an idea, give you, especially the anime onlys, like an idea of the universe, what's going on in this universe, or lore. That's the idea. That was the word I was thinking of. Gives you more lore of this universe. So let me get back to where I was here, and sorry, I just wanted to mention that because it was going to bother me otherwise if I didn't. I love that smart-ass line by Kairos. I'm looking to see if it's in the manga. But I don't think it's here. I think it's an anime only. But if it is, I think it is, I kind of like it because it's still him. No, here it is. No, it's there. Okay, it's not an anime only. It's in the manga. That's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute. This is too good of a line to be an anime only, and it is very Kairos here. Okay, good. It is in the manga. There it is. Okay, freaking, this is good. Here we are. For those that are curious where we are in the manga, for those that are following along, we are on page 37 of chapter 20. Here we go again. We are changing names. Okay, so, and this is why the narration should have been earlier, but I'm gonna give this the benefit of the doubt. So it was supposed to, his name in the manga for the second prince of Muzark is supposed to be Alama Bayajit, and in the anime it's Belo Silahatar Biazit. What the frickin' hell? What is with these name changes? This is ridiculous. So now we're at chapter 21 of the manga. Okay, so in the anime, she's Princess Aish. In the manga, she's Hanim Aisha. So, okay, we're at least Aisha's name is a little bit better anime, so I'll give you that. I just want to check one thing real quick. Hold on a second. And if I haven't mentioned it already, yes, we are in chapter 21. Okay, this part was skipped here, and you know what? I would have accepted the narration being skipped if this part would have been here. And you know what? Or fuck, you could have put the narration here and had this part skipped, and I would have been okay with it. But it wasn't here, which was this. Hold on a second. Let me just go back. I lost my spot for a second here. Berli Turkaik, 75 years ago, the western half of the continent was held by nomadic tribes called Turkaic Torak, or territory. It was home to more than 20 clans who conferred and divided into nations. Berlik Turkaic is a general term for the 5 stratocracies that formed. I get it. So it was the nomads themselves that named the that the name Turkaic comes from. The civil war in Bahrain, our neighboring country, ended. Fearful that their aggression would turn outwards, the tribal chiefs of Turkaic agreed to join their forces. First, they made the newly formed Turkaic stratocracy the central power, and then, taking up the role of rear guard, the Turkaic stratocracy bestowed the power of local government of the other four influential clans. Since then, all currency for Greater Turkaic is minted within the Turkaic stratocracy, and in the name of protecting their economic interests, each of the 4 small stratocracies keep their own military. So you're saying Turkaic and the other 4 bound to each other to share the same fate? And yet, in spite of this, now when we should be banding together against an outside threat, why do they make a move that throws off all our progress? That was all skip. I don't understand why. Why would you not even have this? It makes no sense. So, this is what it was really supposed to be. My brother, the Sultan, Barbara, first of all, it was, for any such further inquiries, I'm afraid you'll have to question my older brother. My brother, the Sultan Barbaron, is currently going from city to city in Muzrak on a royal tour. Royal tour at a time like this? Normally, this is done with lots of splendor and pomp to show people the Sultan's influence. It's kind of like a festival. But this time, the real objective of the tour is to inspect all places within the country. And my brother will soon reach the city of Liman. That part was the city of Liman. That part was there. But like, why are you not mentioning this? Like, all this lore is just being skipped. And I'm sorry this video is so long, but Jesus Christ, this is just ridiculous. It's just frustrating as shit. Hold on a second. But like, the rest of the stuff here is just that's being said right now is, I don't even think it's in the manga. I'm just double checking right now. Hold on. This part was skipped. Mahmud Bey of the Turkaic stratocracy is seeking an audience with me. Muzrak is in the cultural sphere of Great Turkaic. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Please remember to be cautious of what you say. What a pain, just when we're about to get busy. That tiger's face is ugly. Oh my god, who the hell drew that face? That face is just terrible. Oh my god. Am I the only one that thinks this? Please let me know in the comment section below if you think that tiger face is ugly. If I'm wrong, let me know if you think that tiger face looks good. That face is ugly as hell, though. This part was skipped too. Well, this is a good opportunity to see Turkaic's great general in the flesh. After that part was there. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you, man. Mahmud in this anime is not as beautiful as they say. He isn't. Mahmud in the manga, on the other hand, I will agree with you. But in this anime, he is not beautiful. He is not. Whoever is drawing Mahmud is doing a terrible job. Someone needs to, whoever is drawing him needs to look at the manga and just redo it. Seriously. Seriously, fix it. I'm begging you. He looks terrible. Okay, I know some of it was here in the anime, don't get me wrong, but how they shorten it was just, the writing is just terrible. I'm going to read the whole thing, what Mahmud said, because it's just, I feel like it's important. Here we go. And this is starting at the bottom of page 19 of chapter 21. As far as I've heard, the purpose of the Berlik Turkaic, so that in an emergency, we who have far less total population than Lane can compete with our enemies outside, with our outside enemies by moving as a unified country with coordination and strategy. At least that's how it was meant to be when it was formed. Each realm is part of Great Turkite. Muzrak, the spear; Balta, the axe; Buchak, the dagger; Kurchu, the sword. This part was definitely skipped. I don't understand why you would not even mention this. In exchange for taking up these responsibilities, you are given the right to independent local government. Why would you not mention this? Why? The first portion of it was mostly there, but like it just was terribly written in the anime. But now, when the moment has come for you to finally fulfill your duty, how can you say you'll abandon it? For the most part, that was there, but like it was freaking terrible. The Imperial Army is advancing. If we don't come together under the banner of Brulik Turkike, neither Turkike nor Muzrak will likely survive it. Let's see. That part was there. I'm sorry. That part was there. But like, I don't understand why you would not. Why would you not mention like the whole this? What part was it that I want? Why would you not mention the stuff about the realms, about each realm, like each realm being a part of the Greater Turkite, like the spear, the axe, the dagger, and the sword? Why would you not mention that? I have to question that, but I can't stand that they're saying Torque instead of Turkike. Like, it's driving me nuts. Ugh, I hate this. Stop doing this. Usually I don't give a fuck about word changes, but when it's like the actual, when it's screwing with the lore like this, then yes, I'm going to call this shit out. It is driving me nuts. Stop calling it Torque. It's Turkike. This part was skipped. If I had been in the Buke Pasha's place, I would have found a spot for you in the government's very core. God, I fucking hate this guy. This guy is such a... Oh, he's such a creeper. Ugh. Man, we are adapting a lot of chapters this week. We're going into chapter 22 now. Jeez. It looks like their time is up is skipped. And something that I like that they're doing, because I looked this up. I was looking in the manga to try and find this, but I think this might be an anime only thing. But I like that we're seeing Baisit and Aisha's escaping. I really like that. I think this is good anime. I gotta say, the stuff that the anime does that's anime only, it does really well. I will give it the anime props for this, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, did we really need to like skip all this content because of this filler? Was it necessary? I'll leave that up to you to decide that. For that, I want to know, do you guys like this anime only stuff that we're getting right now? Or are you kind of like meh on it? I'm kind of indifferent on this anime only. I kind of like that it's there, but at the same time, I'm like thinking, was all the content... It's different than like Made in Abyss, where their Made in Abyss is not skipping a bunch of content. Like Shoukoku no Altair. Shoukoku no Altair, this episode is skipping a ton of important content, and it's just freaking retarded, because Shoukoku no Altair is getting like over 20, I think it's getting like 24 episodes, so I don't understand why we're skipping all this content. Okay, so I'm gonna take it back. I found it in the manga. It took me a second. It's not anime, some of it is anime only, but it's not, but it's there, it's here. I found it. It's on page 9 of chapter 22. I think this part was skipped. Hold on, this part was definitely skipped. The Muzarak Sultan Barban, the man who opposed Turkike's treatment of its vassal states, opposing him, Biogel Baisit, has gathered an army. Those two are true citizens of Turkike. Was skipped. Let me just double check and make sure there's nothing else here. Oh, here it is. And you know, in spite of everything, I did give my brother plenty of time. I went to the trouble of putting on this tour charade and making my way to Lyman as slowly as possible. But now that it's come down to the last moment, he won't reply. So there's really no choice to dispose of him along with the traitor Aisha, is there? That was skipped. Alright. Is it really alright to let him die in the standoff? That was skipped. Sultan Barbara. Inside the shrine is completely empty. The underground passage, huh? Let's see. Have you, that part was there. Hold on a second. I'm sorry this video is long, but God, this episode is just, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this anime today, or this week. So part of it was anime only, but most of it wasn't. But there you go. But that question is still there. Like, I actually like that they did add the stuff, now that I know that I found it in the freaking chapter. And this is what I love about doing these live reactions, is that you guys get to see the mistakes that I make as I go. And I do all these in one take too, so there's no editing either, because I'm too lazy to learn how to do editing and shit. So maybe someday I will. But anyway, but yeah, in this case, I actually like the little bit of additional content that they put in. It added more to it. So now that I know how far we're going into, because I read the narration like when I wasn't sure how far we were going into this into the manga this week, I know we're going to be doing the narration that was skipped this week. I think that's going to be at the beginning of the episode next week, and I will be definitely fine with it. I will love it if they do it that way. If they do the narration that was skipped this week that I read to you guys, if they start the episode off with that narration, I will be so freaking happy. And also with this, just in case they don't, if where is it? This narration in particular. Hold on, there was another piece of narration here. I'm surprised this part wasn't mentioned either, but if this narration gets mentioned in the recap or at the beginning of the episode, next week I'll be happy as well. Turkai year 75 day 4 of the month of Chinli, Imperial year 451, 7th day of the 4th month. This day that the D1 decided to secretly fan the flames of armed rebellion in the four stratocracies from behind the scenes. And yeah, when I said I'm telling you, Zaganos is he's a savage motherfucker. He is. Zagano shows no freaking mercy. But yeah, if they do the narrate, like if they start the episode next week similar to how they did it this week, with some of the narration, well, they should have done, to be honest, if they would have done that, the narration from, you know what? I'm not going to bitch about that. But, like, if they started off with the narration that was not used this week and started the episode off with that, I would be fine with that. That would be perfect, actually. It would be a good way to lead into this, because we're going into the Civil War, about to go into a Civil War kind of thing. So I would be down with this. I'll be fine with it. So we're just not going to use Palil Pasha at all, huh? We're not going to have Palil Pasha at all, because this part was skipped. Moff is in Muzrak? That takes me back. Is he doing well? Khalil Pasha, Mahmoud Bey is your subordinate. Do you think you could lend him to me for a while? I want to use his power to maneuver rebellion. Let's see. If you think he'll be useful, go ahead and use him. If Moff wants to be a Pasha again, he needs to experience many things. No matter if the job is clean or dirty. But is it really okay to give Moff such an important role? Of course, especially this time. snooping around a case on his own is Mahmoud Bey's specialty after all. Like, that part was skipped for the most part. I'm just like, why are you not? Where's Khalil? Like, where is he? Like, he's supposed to. Like, is Khalil Pasha just? What is he like? What is he? Chopped liver? Like, come on, anime, seriously. Okay, so going back to the scene where they were making their escape, Aisha was making their escape. That wasn't filler at all. This was part. They used part. This was in first part of chapter 23. So, okay, anime, I will give you a pass on this. I like what you did here. It works out perfectly. Good job on that. I like that you did that. That scene flows perfectly for me. It wasn't filler at all. But the problem is, and this is the problem with this episode that I have, is that they're trying to do too much this week. They're trying to adapt too much this week, and I have a huge problem with it. I don't like when anime tries to do that. Like, I understand if you're only having like a 12 episode season, but you have we have 20 plus episodes this season. I think this episode's trying to do too much. That's the problem. But there is something that wait. The main difference between like Shoukoku no Altair and like say Red Eye Boken, for example, that Shoukoku no Altair gets a pass on though, is that Shoukoku no Altair doesn't completely fuck with the lore for the most part. Yes, a lot of content is lost, but the lore is still for the most part there. The only thing I wish that, and I know it's going to be mentioned next week, but I really wish more of the lore would have been mentioned this week. I really do. It's just very disappointing. And I honestly know what you're trying to do, anime. I know what you're trying. If you would, like, honestly, in all honesty, if it would have ended with Sultan Bey riding off to go do his thing, to go find Mahmoud Bey, that would have been fine. That would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect way to end this episode. That should have been how this episode ended, to be honest with you. But no. That's where I think the episode that's where I think that... Ugh, I can't fucking talk right now. That's where this episode should have ended, is when Solomon Bey went to ride off to go find Mahmoud. That's where it should have ended. But, no. You decided you wanted to add more to it. I don't know why, but... So I think another thing they're gonna do next week in the beginning is they'll have like in the if you look in the beginning of chapter 23, it says in 11 days after the Lehman attack. I think they'll have that as well, but we'll see. I just don't understand why they're trying to... I don't understand why you're trying to adapt so much in an episode. Yes, I understand the storyline and shit. But you should have just stopped right at the end of the chapter. At the end of chapter 22, you would have been fine. So they didn't show them getting... This is just fucking stupid. Okay, this should have been in next week's episode, but they didn't do it. So what was skipped was basically they were trying to poison Mahmoud and the crew, and Mahmoud, mentions that you could tell if shit's poisoned based on coloration and stuff like that, and then they faked being poisoned, and that's how they got the costumes and stuff. And I'm just like, I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, why is this not in next week's episode? Like, all of this does not make sense to be in this week's episode at all. This is just fucking retarded, anime. Like, this is just bad. This was just, studio, this was stupid. Come on, guys. Like, you guys should know better. Come on. This was fucking stupid. Hey, Kairos has a beautiful face. Quit hating, bruh. So, we're not seeing the code going on between Obligo and Kairos either? Like, what the freaking hell? We're not seeing that code going. That's what I mean. Like, this anime is not doing a good job with, because the thing is Obligo and Kairos have like a bromance similar, as I said, to Masur and Sharkan and Magi, and it's the anime's not doing a good job of showing it. Because like in the manga, if you're looking at the manga, you see in this chapter, you see that they're like doing signals to each other, and you're not seeing it in this anime. Like, what the hell? Some of this dialogue is skipped. Like, I'm just so frustrated with this episode. Like, some of this dialogue is skipped, like about the hospitality and shit like that, and I'm just like, hold on, I gotta cover it because it's gonna bug me. Hold on. Okay, this is what was skipped. Dialogue-wise, just hold on a second. I want to make sure I'm on the right spot. Here we go. What bad taste. With everyone gathered here, he should be able to tell even without doing that. 86? There's no way I alone could. Shift. That's the light signal code used by ships in the Central Sea to communicate. Even though it sucks having to rely on him. Understood, Kairos. Honestly, that part was there. Hold on a second. Let me get to the next part here. Just give me a sec. Here it is. Of course, it can't be helped if the hospitality of Moose-Rock is not to your taste. Was skipped. You thought you would be easily be able to trick a squadron of nothing but pretty faces, am I right? Was skipped. How silly of you. If only you had accepted our hospitality, we could have guaranteed you, your safety. Please wait, Sultan. Seize them. Please listen to me, Sultan Barbaron. That was all skipped. But and it just like went to the fountain stuff. But damn, like the fountain, that scene looked really good. And yes, we know. I know you nerdigans are gonna want me to talk about how the Sultan is working with the Empire, and that bitch from the beginning is back. Yes, and they did change the scenes with that, but with this one, but it worked. That part actually worked for me. I'm fine with that. Let's see. Oh man, I love when it goes all dark and we see Oblegan's face. Like that was just, oh, how that looked was just so freaking cool. Oh my god. It looked badass. And they got torches was skipped. Come on, Obliga, and leave it to me, Kairos was skipped. This changes nothing. You can't run was skipped. I love how Kairos is just like, just how many did that lanky bastard take down quietly? I fucking love that. See, this is what I mean. Like, he has that Sharkan Masur relationship going on. And also, they didn't show this. What Obliga did was he shouted, "Watch out, there's a traitor. Everyone surround the Sultan and protect him." What did you say? Where's the Sultan? Quick, encircle him. Are the torches still not recovered? Sultan, are you hurt, Sultan Barbaron? It's just a little bit further, Mr. Kairos. After we throw away these clothes, we can take some horses. For the time being, let's just get away from the capital. That part was skipped. So we're ending at the, and so this episode ends at the end of chapter 23. So we adapted 3 chapters of Shoukoku no Altair this week. That was freaking, and that was ambitious, first of all. Second of all, that was a dumb idea. Like, you should have done, I think that was just too much. We should have just done 2 chapters this week. We should have done, or fuck, if you include 20, chapters 20, 21, 20, 20, 21, 22, and 20, 21, 22, and 23. 4 chapters we adapted this week. That was way too many fucking chapters, anime. That was way too many chapters, anime. You shouldn't have done that many. You should have, at the most, you should have done chapters 20, 21, and you should have just done 20 through 22. And that's pushing it for me. Because there's like about, 40 pages. And because Shoukoku no Altair, I believe Shoukoku no Altair is a monthly, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Shoukoku no Altair is a monthly. So, I don't understand why you're trying to do so many. I don't understand why you're trying to adapt so many chapters when you have 20 fucking plus episodes this season. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why are you trying to... I just don't get it. I don't fucking understand this. I really, really don't. I'm really curious what you guys thought. Like, overall, this episode was okay. It should have... If it would have ended at the end of chapter 22, and it would have had the content about the tribes, like if we would have, had an explanation, like more explanation of what the tribes were and, like how they, why they were formed and stuff and their purpose, then I would have been fine with this episode. I would have been fine with the narration being skipped. I would, because remember, there's that conversation that Mahmoud has with Obliga and or Mahmoud explains to Kairos and Obliga what the tribes were. If that would have been there, and if we would have had the conversation at the beginning of the episode between the other with Zaganos and one of the other Pashas about the tribes and the stuff about the other, and would have had that scene done right about the other Sultan infighting, that would have made this episode a lot better to me. This chapter adaptation, chapter 23, should have not been in this episode at all. It should have not. Maybe like the first portion of chapter 23, yes, that part should have been there because of, oh my god. Because of the brother, escaping and shit, and Aisha escaping, Aisha escaping, that is fine. But the rest of it just did not make sense to be here. I just don't fucking understand it. This was stupid. This was stupid anime. I do not understand why you did this. Anyway, I'm very curious what you guys thought of this episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. if you love what I'm doing and want to contribute to my channel expansion. There's a few ways you could do that. You could donate to my PayPal, Patreon, or purchase something off my Amazon wishlist. All those links are in the description box below. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter, follow my Twitch channel, friend me on PlayStation Network. All that's in the description box below as well. Until next time, Nerdigans, I'll be seeing you later.